Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Be Brave Friday, where my lovely co-host Carrie or I read stories of personal bravery and inspiration a lot of times. So if you happen to have a story that you'd like to share with the world, even if it's anonymously, please send it to Carrie and we'll get it out there for you. Thank you very much. Today's story requires me to flip the page to see. Oh, it must be anonymous.
No, it's Donna Roberts.
Donna Roberts, Carrie says she's the camera person for today. What a lovely camera person she is. Donna Roberts' bravery story is entitled When Your Patient Teaches You a Thing or Two About Living. When your patient teaches you a thing or two about living. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Lyrics from R. Kelly. Would you like to hear me sing them? You're out of luck anyways. Names and minor details have been changed to protect privacy. The thing about clinical work is that each day you never know what's coming. You can be working with a patient in the most clear-cut treatment plan with everything going textbook perfect, and suddenly, "Hi Joe, nice to see you." And it was. Joe was a regular in my therapy room, but unlike some others, a willing and enthusiastic participant in his treatment program. He worked hard in session and practiced the suggested exercises in the times between visits. He was open, expressive, and insightful, all elements of the perfect patient. We usually both felt good after a session. That's not to say that there weren't painful struggles in his treatment program. Joe, like many of us, had his own demons to confront. His made more powerful and debilitating by his bipolar diagnosis. But he embraced the challenge, knowing that working through his stuff meant some pain for each gain. Joe's condition was stabilized by medication prescribed by his psychiatrist. My role was part 2 of his treatment plan, the talking cure, the fun part we called it. With his more severe symptoms under control, Joe's problems were not at all uncommon. Relationships, work, stress, etc. We just had to approach them from his unique history and dysfunctional behavior patterns. That fateful Friday started like any other session with Joe. He was calm and chatty, and we exchanged some trivial dialogue before getting to the more serious work. I had tentatively penned in communication skills as a topic for the session, but only if Joe didn't lead us down another path. Joe turned pensive and quiet. I was just about to suggest a communication topic when he took a deep breath and said, "I think I want to go off my meds." I tried not to look surprised, but I was. While this is a typical reaction for many on psychiatric medication, it was unexpected from Joe. He had been faithfully following his medication regimen for almost 5 years. He had few side effects and had frequently expressed agreement that they normalized his behavior for the better. I was curious why he would say this now. Was he facing a crisis? Was he experiencing negative side effects? Did he Google his condition and become convinced he should try the latest wonder drug or fad? I even wondered if he was joking, trying to jumpstart a lagging session. And to be honest, I was a little bit scared. Joe's more serious symptoms had always been under control in my therapy room, courtesy of his effective medication. They made his problems seem normal and, more importantly, manageable. The full-blown symptoms of bipolar disorder were another matter altogether. So I said what all therapists say when they don't know what to say. "Well, Joe, tell me more about that." And thus began the most intense conversation I ever had with a patient in therapy. He looked out the window, off into the distance, and said, "It's me. I'm losing me. I think the meds are taking away what it means to be me." "You're losing the sick you." "That may be the only me there is." I let the silence get uncomfortable, waiting for him to explain. "You know, I've never really talked about it, but when I'm manic, I feel like I can fly. Like I can fly. The world is mine." "I understand, but Joe, it's not, and you can't." "Who says?" "The healthy you knows this is true. We've talked about that." And then he focused his gaze directly on me and asked me questions that shook me to my core, my healthy, non-bipolar core. His voice was raised, but not in anger, with a deep and heartfelt passion for what he was saying. Have you ever felt anything that intense? Have you ever lived that fully? Have you ever felt that deeply? Taking a deep breath and donning my therapeutic persona again, I replied, knowing my argument would hardly stand up to such emotion, but you're a danger to yourself when you're in that state. I'm a danger to the real me when I'm so subdued. I get it. I get where you're coming from. It's not you. You don't want to live that way. But how would you feel if everyone told you that you had to? Wouldn't a little piece of you die inside? I knew I was defeated here. Arguing him would just entrench him more deeply in his convictions. I couldn't match his intensity in that moment. I needed to stop fighting and accept him where he was. Joe, you know I cannot recommend that you do this. I know, he replied calmly. I don't have the authority. I'm a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. So I cannot make judgments or decisions about your meds. Yes, I know. What we both knew, but didn't say, was that he would be taken to the psychiatric ward for observation and consult. The time between making the call to his psychiatrist and when the orderlies escorted him to the other ward could have been awkward and tense, but Joe made it pleasant. We chatted about the trivial things that make up casual conversation, the weather, the Yankees. Then, just as he was about to walk out the door for the last time, Joe turned to me with one final piece of advice. Live a little, Donna. Just once, do something that makes you feel like you can fly. Don't always play it so safe. And while his words did not turn me into a risk taker, they do come back to me from time to time when I stand on the brink of something I'm afraid of.
There's a plane up there. Hold on. It's so appropriate.
So what's appropriate?
The
plane?
Yeah.
Oh, I
'Cause
believe
it's
I can fly.
flying. Oh my word.
And while his words did not turn me into a risk taker, they do come back to me from time to time when I stand on the brink of something I'm afraid of. And they make me just a little bit braver. And sometimes I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. For some reason, I almost got a little teary there at the end, even though it's not a teary story whatsoever. But the emotion behind it, I guess, is quite powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, to feel that way, right?
Yeah. Joe was
So,
brave and Donna was
Joe
brave.
was very brave, and apparently it helps Donna be a little braver as well.
Yeah. And then the
So-
airplane.
The airplane? That's pretty brave too. Pretty brave too.
No, it was like a sign from the universe, man. We never
Yeah.
have airplanes here anymore because
Because of the vid.
of it.
I know. Anyways, remember to be brave, people. And when you are brave, send those stories to Carrie so we can share them with the rest of the world and make everybody else a little bit braver, maybe. That would be our best hope and intent. Thank you, and have a wonderful week.